Hello, welcome back into today's little podcast. Once again, we're doing a sports edition episode. We said we do it every 2 weeks, and it does not happen that way. I think this is our second one in a month, so we're trying. I promise, we're trying. But life's been hectic, and we're squeezing this in here. That way, he'll come out. Hopefully, while I'm on vacation. And Cliff just got back from vacation, so we're grinding these out. A similar episode this week as not last week, not 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think now.
Has it been 3 weeks?
It's been a minute.
It's been 3.
I can't remember, but you'll have me covering the MLB standings, power rankings, the current power rankings, all that stuff. Maybe playoff outlook. After that, you've got Cliff covering the happenings in the soccer, football world, whatever the hell you want to call it. And then after that, instead of the NFL, since not a whole lot has happened, there's been a few trades here and there, but nothing too terribly major. We're going to talk about college football and the conference outlook, recruiting classes, all that stuff. That'll be Eli and I both. And then we will do our motorsports outlook, F1, even though nothing has changed. IndyCar and NASCAR. And this week we got Guess the Racer. And then for the Ace in the Hole Sports Edition Championship, we're giving our predictions for the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. That is the IndyCar race happening August 6th. So both of those will be at the end of the episode. But hopping into it right now, covering the MLB. Biggest story for me, having seen them in person now, it's where I got the hat. The Reds have cooled down considerably since the last time we talked about them. They were on that tear last time we were talking about them. Ellie was in full form. Ellie has not been in full form. Neither has this team. Last 10, they're 4-6. I think they had a 6-game stretch against the Brewers, and they lost 5 of those games. And this season, against the Brewers, who are really the only people even contending for the NL Central division, they are 2-8, which does not fill many Reds fans with hope. I mean, they're only 1.5 games back right now in the NL Central. So it's not the end of the world by any means, but they definitely need to get it together because they have been in a slump ever since the All-Star break, and they need to break out of it desperately. Like I said, the Brewers leading that division. The NL East, you've got the Braves, which are by far the best team in the NL, leading the Phillies and the Marlins by 11.5 games. I'm sure Eli's ecstatic about that one. And then in the NL West, you have the Dodgers leading with 55 games, and right behind them are the Diamondbacks and Giants, both 2.5 games back. Rest of that, Padres would have to have a lot happen for them to even be in the conversation of winning that division. Switching over to the American League, you've got the Orioles and Rays both tied for first. Kind of, not really. The win percentage is .04 away. The Orioles are 59-38, and then the Rays are 61-40. So kind of a weird situation going on the AL East. But I mean, the AL East is by far the toughest division in the entirety of baseball because you've got the Yankees and Red Sox, who are 51-46 and 51-47 respectively, who are 8 and 8.5 games back, and they're probably going to finish the season over 500, which I don't think has ever happened. I don't think every team in a single division in MLB history has finished a season over 500. So one of those two teams is going to be the best last place team in MLB history. AL Central, the Minnesota Twins are leading the division. 2 games behind them are the Cleveland Guardians, and the rest of the division is pretty much an afterthought. And then the AL West, more of the same. You got the Rangers leading. The Astros are 4 games back, and then the rest is also more so an afterthought. But Eli, don't fret. Your Phillies are ninth in the power rankings. Bryce Harper's back. He's hitting home runs. He's kind of going off right now. So you better pray that keeps happening.
It won't. He'll get hurt. Straight up. It's what happens every single time we start building momentum, and then somehow, like, golden boy that we paid out money for gets hurt, or something happens to him, or he gets sick, and we end up shooting ourselves in the damn foot. Every freaking time.
Well, that's just the Phillies' way.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you
Just
wondering what the power rankings are looking like, top 10, Braves, Orioles, Rays, Rangers, Dodgers, Astros, Red Sox, surprisingly, but they've been super hot in the month of July, so if you follow baseball at all, it's not really that surprising. The Blue Jays, Phillies, and then the Brewers round out your top 10. And then after that, Giants, Marlins, Diamondbacks, Yankees, and Reds all the way down to 15. The Reds have been slipping in their power rankings, much like the actual season, ever since the All-Star break. Looking through here, obviously the Athletic and Royals are bottom two teams, with the Rockies just barely above them. The Pirates, who were off to that massive start in the beginning of the season, have cooled off considerably. They now have a losing record, which everyone knew would happen. It was just a matter of time when it would happen. So, as far as the MLB goes, a lot of the things stayed the same. Not too many terrible changes, which at this point in the year, you really aren't going to see any major shifts. I really think the only major shift that you might see is if Aaron Judge comes back, you might see the Yankees actually make a charge towards the top of the AL East, because that team runs off of Aaron Judge. We're talking about a team who went 30-19 when Aaron Judge played, and when he hasn't played, they are 20-25. That's how much of a crucial part of this team Aaron Judge is and has been. And without him, you're obviously scrambling to find a replacement for that. But apparently, the hottest story going on in the MLB right now, as far as trade talks go, is Shohei Ohtani. And apparently the Yankees said that they will stop at nothing to get Shohei Ohtani.
I don't know how I feel about that. I'm going to say my first words of the podcast. I don't know how I feel about that. I thought I heard somewhere that Shohei hated the idea of playing in New York.
Well, he may hate the idea, but he may love the idea of all the money.
He may like the contract, yeah.
The Phillies could trade some of our big money people to the Angels, and I'll take Ohtani. I'll take him.
Would
I
you
need
give up
something
Bryce
good.
Harper for him, though?
Absolutely. Don't
Wow.
ask that damn question.
Wow, that was
Don't ask
fast.
that damn question.
Wow.
Don't play with me.
That was a fast answer.
There's a few things that people know about me with sports, and one of those is I can't stand fucking Bryce Harper on any damn team.
Even though it's your own?
Even on my own team, I can't fucking stand him.
So who's leading the race for the Trash Cup, Austin? Who are the worst teams in baseball right now?
Well, like I told you, it is the Astros and the Royals with the
A's, right?
No, it is the A's. My bad. I misspoke. It's the A's and the Royals with the Rockies right behind them.
Sounds about right.
It's really a dogfight down there in the bottom, too. They keep going back and forth, so... But just get your hopes up a little bit. The Reds are ranked number 5 in the Shohei Ohtani gauntlet.
Ooh.
Who's number 1?
I don't know. As of now, it is the Rangers.
Ooh.
It all depends, though. This is CBS, and this is what they think people like. They would be like teams most likely, like most suitable. Because I just read one that said the Red Sox could easily get Shohei, which I don't think they could. But they could, and they were
Texas
like
probably could.
25th. But the top
Honestly.
5, according to CBS, is the Reds, Dodgers, Rays, Orioles, and Rangers, which all those sound very likely except for the Reds. The Reds would actually have to spend money and help improve the team in order to get Shohei, which is not going to happen. That is not the Castellini way.
Out of all those teams, I would almost like to see him go to the Rangers or the Orioles. I know that kind of sounds odd.
I don't want to see him on the Orioles.
I don't want to see him on the Orioles either.
The Orioles Rangers, are already... They don't need the help.
Rangers could probably be a really good pick for him. A destination.
I mean, he'd be surrounded by a lot of young talent.
It would probably
if they didn't have to trade them all to get him.
Yeah. He'd be the man there.
It would. It may be his stomping ground.
But the top 10 are the Marlins, Astros, Giants, Yankees, Padres, and then the top 5, like I just said, are Reds, Dodgers, Rays, Orioles, and Rangers. The thing is, with me, the Reds have the cap space to get him. We have all the money in the world that we can spend on Shohei. So we could trade
our third highest player is King Griffey Jr. this year. I'm just putting that out there.
And reading a little, I'll just go ahead and read the paragraph here for the Reds. Reds fans deserve to watch the most fun player in baseball join the most fun team in the league after all the bad baseball they've had to sit through in the last decade. Cincinnati absolutely has the pieces to swing in an Ohtani trade. I don't mean trading Ellie or Matt McClain. I mean guys still in the minors. The Reds clearly needs a starter, and fitting all the pieces around Ohtani at DH would take some creativity, but it's doable. Is ownership and GM Nick Kroll willing to swerve away from their thus successful rebuild plan towards a big-ticket rental like Ohtani? Beats me, but the dots are connected, and I feel roughly the same. I think if Ohtani comes to the Reds, it would be must-watch baseball every single day of the week, which it already almost is with Ellie and McClain and India and everyone else.
I really do think it would make the Reds a win-now team rather than, maybe next year.
I don't think it would.
You don't think it would?
I would say that they have the ability to win now, but I don't think it would absolutely be a win-now type of thing. Because Ohtani's still young. Ellie's still young.
He has a year left on his contract.
Did you not hear any of the words I just said? We have the cap space to give him a long-term big contract after this year. So if the Castellinis and Nick Kroll can convince him, hey, we've got all this depth, we've got all these young guys, you're young as well, stick around, we'll pay you handsomely if you stick around, and we'll win a couple ships. Then maybe he'll be like, well, you do make a good point.
And I mean, getting to play 82 games in the Great American Small Park, he'd break the home run record. He'd break the home run record.
His base salary right now is $30 million.
Yep.
And we would probably give him 40 in the ballpark of 40.
Payroll this year is $92,485,871. That's all you guys have been paying out so far.
Exactly. We have the money to do
25 out of 30.
It's just a matter of if they want to do it. Which you'd be fucking stupid to pass up the opportunity to have Shohei Ohtani on your team.
Could you imagine, though, if all the other trades we've made over the last 7 years finally pay off and all the minors go and they get shipped away and they bring in Shohei? And that means every trade we've made the last 7 years has finally paid off with Shohei Ohtani. Honestly, I think that would justify the last 7 years of shit baseball.
Shut up. No, it would not.
I feel like you guys
the Derek
had
Dietrich
this
year
without him, had you guys not done that.
I remember the year of Derek Dietrich and Puig.
Yasiel Puig. Fuck, that was a fun year. Puig
that
gets
was
in a
fun.
fight pretty much every other fucking day.
Aristides Aquino. Who was the
Scooter
pitcher?
Gannett.
Scooter was great for like a season and a half.
You talking about
was
Hunter
the-
Green?
No, he came out. He was a bullpen arm. He came out of the bullpen, and he was the one who started most of the shit. Amir Garrett.
Yeah, Amir Garrett.
Amir Garrett.
He's gone now.
I'm pretty sure he's pitching in some foreign league now.
No, he's still in the MLB.
Oh, really?
Because him and Javi Baez still have their beef.
Well, that's because Javi is, Javi.
But that's pretty much
So,
all I
yeah.
got from the MLB,
Yeah.
so... Cliff, you got any updates on soccer?
So in the world of international football, we are in between seasons right now. So the transfer market's going wild. Manchester United just signed the new goalkeeper. Goodbye, David De Gea. It's been a really fun 12 years. I wish him the best. Bringing a new goalkeeper. He's worked closely with the Eric Ten Hag before. Plays the style he wants. So, it's probably a good fit moving forward. We have a lot of friendlies going on around the world. The one that I liked the most was Chelsea beat Wrexham 5-0. Wrexham, the side that just got into, I believe it was League 2. So they're 3 divisions down. But for some reason, Wrexham is uber popular in America. Ryan Reynolds will do that for a team. And tonight, Messi made his debut for Inter Miami and scored the winner in extra time with a marvelous free kick bent into the top left corner. And all he has to do is keep up the highlight plays. And you know what? There's a chance that we could get this kick sport popular in America. But that's really all I've got in the world of football. There's not really a lot going on right now. The transfer market's kind of settled down a little bit. So that is all I have to report. So I believe now is the time for us to talk about. Yeah, too bad it's I can't watch it on like Fox 7, Fox Sports 7.
Live stream it.
You can't watch it on ESPN the Ocho.
I can't watch it on Ocho. I got ESPN Plus and it's not even on there. So
I'll live stream it to you guys. No, I still got a few weeks before I'll hear back from them if I'm coaching or not.
Well, Eli, it's time for college football.
I think it's time for you two to butt heads about college football. Updated.
You say butt heads like there is any interaction between Notre Dame and Georgia besides Georgia beating Notre Dame every time they meet.
We get a free
I'm not
airplane
going to say anything.
show every single time the game happens, so I'm okay with it. The Jets look cool as they fly across the stadium before, we got our asses handed to us every single time. It's great. It's great. That's fantastic. Love it so much. Love watching a fucking game just to watch how that asses get stomped in. It's fucking great.
You guys lost to Marshall last year. We watched that one
Shut
together.
the hell up.
Yeah. Yeah, that did happen.
Shut the hell up.
We are.
Shut
That was
up.
a great movie.
Old Green Herd.
The Thundering Herd.
The Mean Green.
So anyway.
Well, transferring that, the Green Wave of Tulane seems to be pretty good this year. I think they are the odds-on favorite to win the American Conference.
That's Ball State's conference, right?
No.
Oh, the
Ball
MAC.
State is in the MAC. Thursday night action.
Cliff tried.
I love some Macness. Give me that Macness.
Cliff tried.
Are they not in the American? I could have swore they were the American.
Who is it?
Tulane was. Tulane.
Oh. I don't know.
Yeah, they're in the American.
Yeah, because they American Athletic Conference.
Yeah.
AAC. I thought they moved
The
conferences
American. Yeah.
this past season.
No.
Wasn't somebody supposed to be moving conferences?
They move people all around, Eli.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm still waiting for Notre Dame to get moved. No, it's not going to happen, but
Notre
it gets talked
Dame
about
football
more
will
and more every
never
season.
join a conference. They will never join a conference
We've
unless
had
they
to
are
start
forced
with our
to.
other sports.
Every other sport is, but football will not.
Our
Hey,
hockey
it
got
should.
moved into one. Our baseball got moved in.
If the Big Ten has anything to say about it,
We're getting
Listen,
closer and
man,
closer to
don't get me started on the Big Ten. Don't get me started on the Big Ten.
We are getting closer and closer to Notre Dame having to move into a conference. If we make the playoffs, I do believe this season or the next, and it is a heavy if, I do believe we'll be forced to sign into a conference.
well, the issue with Notre Dame is they don't have a conference championship game. So while the
Correct.
SEC thins itself out by Georgia and probably this year LSU playing each other, that automatically knocks one out of the
It slides us
playoffs. Same thing with the Big Ten. Well, it can also hurt you as well because you don't have that game to play and prove yourself.
in. Yeah. Ours
So-
are when we play the higher ranked teams throughout the season. And last season we didn't do that much, and when we did, we ended up losing. And so it did end up hurting us. We almost made it into the playoffs last season. I think it was the Marshall game actually that fully knocked us out. We came close to the playoffs for a short time, and then I think it was the Marshall game that knocked us all the way down, if I remember correctly. Because we were ahead of
makes
TCU,
sense.
and then TCU won, and we got knocked. But
you guys also just weren't that good last
Yeah.
year, so
we legit are closer and closer, and it terrifies me. I feel like we're gonna get put in if we do get moved into a conference, I feel like we're gonna get moved into one that we are going to get absolutely shit on every game.
if you move into any of them, it'll either be the Big Ten, the Pac-12, or the
Is it still called the Big 12?
It is, but they wouldn't join that. I'm trying to think of the one on the East Coast that Clemson and all of them are part of.
ACC?
ACC, yep.
I think that's what the rest of your. I think the rest of
Yeah,
the sports
the
are
ACC.
ACCs. So
Or with Clemson on all of them. So if we moved into
the
it,
only reason I'm bringing all three of those up is because the Big Ten has been pushing heavily to get Notre Dame.
yeah.
Since apparently the Big Ten wants to gather any school that has a major name.
with any kind of credibility. That's why we have fucking USC and UCLA. They're gonna come to the Big Ten and get fucking murdered
Mollywopped.
because I hate that.
Wait,
I really
you said
do.
USC is going to get mollywopped?
Okay, did I miss a few games this past season? I didn't watch any USC games this past season. I will full on admit that.
The team that almost made the fucking playoffs?
The clash of styles does not benefit
The Big
USC.
Ten is a fucking joke. And this is a hill I will die on. The Big Ten is a fucking joke.
This is 100%. I am thinking of the wrong college team. Like, not even joking.
The Big Ten is the biggest joke of the Power 5 conferences. And I will die on that hill. Because who do you have in that conference that is worth a damn year in and year out besides Michigan and Ohio State? No.
I don't know.
You have no one. When was the last time a Big Ten team made the college football playoff finals?
Ohio State, I believe.
Yeah, the very first year it was introduced. in like 2015, and they lost to Oregon. I'm pretty sure. I'll look that up. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure they lost to Oregon. The Big Ten has become the biggest joke in the past, 10 years, and it is absurd. It was Ohio State in 2014. They beat Oregon. Okay, I apologize. But even before that, it was also Ohio State back in 2002 was the last national football champion you had come from the Big Ten. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the last. I don't think any other Big Ten team has made the finals.
Oh.
I feel like Michigan did one year. They lost, but I feel like Michigan did.
They did not. 2014, 2015, Ohio State versus Oregon. Ohio State won. 2016, Alabama versus Clemson. 2017, Alabama versus Clemson. 2018, Alabama versus Georgia. 2019, Clemson versus Alabama. 2020, LSU versus Clemson. 2021, Alabama versus... Okay, Ohio State made it in 2021 with Justin Fields. And they got fucking routed.
The running favorite right now for Notre Dame is Big Ten. And that's just the collection.
No wonder I didn't remember Ohio State being in the fucking playoffs. They were terrible. They lost 52-24. It's not as bad as 65-7, but the Big Ten is a joke, and I honestly think USC goes in there, and I think they do fine. If not, they are one of the best teams in the Big Ten.
I don't know.
You have Rutgers in the Big Ten.
Yeah, we don't talk about Rutgers.
Could we see USC make a playoff run in the Big Ten?
They would have to win the Big Ten.
Yeah, they would have to beat Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah. They would have to beat both the old guard.
And it's not. Because USC is good and UCLA is good as well. They will probably be a good 4 to 5 in the Big Ten. Yeah. Because with all the conferences switching away from, East and West and all that stuff, SEC's doing it, Big Ten's doing it. So you will start to see the really good teams start to move away from the rest of the dog shit teams. Nebraskas and Rutgers.
I still know because
I think the top 4 in the Big Ten, once they move, will probably be Michigan, Ohio State, USC, and UCLA.
More than
barring
likely.
A good Wisconsin year, they will slip in right behind USC. Which Wisconsin they've had a good recruiting past few years, so they could slip right into that good 4 seed. What do you mean? What are you giving me that look for?
No, I was looking at Eli for nearly knocking his camera off his stand again.
Oh. So, Wisconsin could be that good 4 seed. They could be the 4th in the Big Ten, which is cool, consolation prize, whatever. But that still puts UCLA at only 5.
I just don't know.
Your top 3 are going to be Michigan, Ohio State, USC. That's going to be the top 3, year in and year out. Whatever amalgamation of that you want to go in, and that's always how it's going to be.
It's just, I'm looking through the college football playoff from 2014. There's a reason that USC and UCLA aren't on here. Because they lose silly games. They always do every year, and it knocks them out of contention. And you got to realize, losing a silly game against Northwestern or
they were the Pac-12
Iowa, dropping silly games against those two, that is going to kill a resume. And that's what everyone always talks about is the resume.
The only reason USC did not make the playoff last year was because they lost to Utah in the Pac-12 championship in an absolute shootout of a game in overtime. I do believe.
I'll have to look that up. Well,
I wasn't the biggest Pac-12 follower, but I could be wrong. I do know that they were like third or fourth going into that week, and then they lost.
Going from 2014 to now, you also got to look at Pac-12 is destroying themselves currently. A lot of the conference is falling apart. You have the Big 12 is the Big 12. ACC is nothing but everybody getting pissed at each other. I'm not getting into them. The ACC's tearing at each other, and then you have the Big Ten trying to pull everybody that doesn't want to be in any one of those other conferences into them. So you have some of these free schools that aren't in other conferences and stuff that are trying to either move into these open spaces. And as you said, I do think that you look at the Big Ten and you will have Michigan, you'll have Ohio, you'll have USC. Bearing a good year, you'll have Wisconsin there. I don't think it depends on how good of a year they have, if they'll be behind USC or if they'll be above USC. They have to have a pretty damn good year for them to go ahead.
And Wisconsin's capable of it. They just have to get their shit together.
And then you have UCLA.
Since we're discussing all of the conferences, I'll go ahead and get into the conference lookouts. Pac-12, funny enough, we're sitting here arguing about USC. Sports Illustrated doesn't even have USC winning the Pac-12. They have the Washington Huskies winning the Pac-12.
Makes sense. Yeah, Austin. USC went 11-3 last year.
Yeah,
they lost 3 games last year.
Yes, that third one was the conference championship against Utah that knocked them out of the top 4.
No,
correct.
They lost.
Yes.
Well, yes. No, that was the second because they lost their bowl game against Tulane of all people.
Well, Tulane was fucking good last year.
Yeah, their 3 losses last year were Tulane, Utah.
That is a bowl game. It doesn't matter.
Utah again. So Utah beat them twice.
Because Utah was fucking good last year.
Well, then why weren't they in any conversations?
Because they weren't USC.
Well, Cincinnati made the playoff and got blown out. That argument doesn't matter anymore.
And Utah wasn't the conversation.
Cincinnati got an invitation to the ACC after that.
No way. Did they really?
They did. They got an invitation to the ACC after that. I don't know if they accepted it or not because I haven't checked.
I'm going to say, didn't they join the ACC?
But they had
I didn't know if they joined a Big 5.
Clemson straight up pushed for them to get brought into the ACC, and everybody from the ACC sent them an invitation. I don't know if they ever accepted it or not.
They're in the AAC. They're in the American Athletic with Tulane.
So they got sent an invitation because they showed up. Where's TCU at?
Wait, never mind. They're in the Big 12. I was right, yeah. Cincinnati's in the Big 12. Yes. Cincinnati's in the Big 12.
Man, this turned into a college football episode, and honestly, I'm okay with that.
Acknowledge the fact for the past, I think, 2 college seasons, we've had 2 teams that have come out of bumfuck nowhere and made it to the playoffs.
Who was the other one?
It's been Cincinnati and it's been TCU. The past 2. This last season.
Well, TCU didn't belong there, and they learned that the hard way when they were
won it, but they made it.
TCU figured that one out.
They were able to win out to now. This season was, we don't have to fully get into that because then I have to poke at Notre Dame's season that we've had in the past. So, schedule is a schedule. Yeah, but I think this is going to be a weird thing for me to get into. I'm trying to think of the words I want to say correctly. I think with a lot of the talk with Big Ten, teams getting pulled in the Big Ten, the Pac-12, the Big 12, and the ACC, I think what a lot of the colleges are trying to do, and this is my opinion from what I'm seeing and everything, so my opinion, I could be wrong. You are seeing these teams that have kind of been completely gone, like the TCU and stuff, and you're seeing them having seasons where they're making it into the playoffs, of going higher at ranking, and we're seeing more and more teams like that making further strides compared to teams who have been playoff contenders. And we're seeing these colleges go, okay, so maybe if we pulled them into ours, we either get a freebie during the season, or we could possibly have a contender in our conference and get more attention towards our conference, our teams, our games. And we're seeing I don't want to say an NFL style of conferences, but we're seeing a more structure-esque of like the AFCs and the NFCs style. In my opinion, at least, we're seeing more of a structure to the conferences of teams and everything getting pushed in for the playoffs. And I think for this season, we're going to have this far-out team that no one knows who the hell they are, and they're going to come in and they're going to freaking show up, and they're going to make
Probably
it to the
Washington.
playoffs again. It could be.
Well, I don't know because, I switched over to Bleacher Report because I've just been looking around, and Bleacher Report has like the complete opposites of what that list had. So, like, I believe the Bleacher Report one's more because this is like what I thought. Because like they have USC winning the Pac-12, they have Georgia winning the SEC. The other list had LSU winning the SEC.
LSU
So,
lost
like,
a lot of the good at
Yeah, I
players.
don't.
Pretty sure
You
a
say
lot of
gooder?
LSU got drafted. Yeah, I was gonna say better,
Yeah,
and then
he
my
did.
brain,
He did.
my brain short circuited there.
Bro said gooder.
Hey, do we have to go back through my stroke of a message I was trying to type out earlier?
Anyway,
You misspelled stroke.
since we've been talking about Big Ten a lot, I'll give my legitimate thoughts on them. I do think the Big Ten's a fucking joke, but there are a couple teams in the Big Ten that are primed to have that wacky year. I think one of those teams is the doormat that has been the past few years is Nebraska. I think Nebraska's looking good. Their recruiting class has been solid. They got that new head coach in there. And I think this could be Nebraska's year to turn around. They have the 25th best recruiting class in the entire nation. That is good for Nebraska. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Nebraska in that conversation later in the season where, like, they might be able to sneak in to a higher bowl. They could be, like, second or third in their conference, I do believe.
Do we really
Nebraska-
think, though, that they could pull a win off of Michigan? That's what it comes down to, is if we think that they can pull one off over Michigan.
Well, the issue with that is, they are in the same. They're in the West, which is ungodly soft.
Yeah, it's got IU and Purdue in it, right? IU, Purdue,
No,
Rutgers.
IU's in the East. The West has Purdue, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Nebraska, and Northwestern.
Northwestern's the only other team I would think to even care about in that conference.
Northwestern was a 1-11 last year.
I know. I know they were 1-11 last year. But you got to realize, though, they were 1-11 because they were playing a lot of rookies. Sorry, freshmen. Playing a lot of freshmen. A lot of freshmen got game experience from that.
All I'm saying is this season has Nebraska written all over it. Purdue fucking chokes. Here's the issue with Purdue. I'm not a Purdue fan,
Yeah.
but I've been saying this for years and no one will fucking listen to me, so I'm saying it now.
They suck ass.
It's not even that they suck ass. They do
I'm
this
just saying they
shit.
suck ass.
They do this shit to where they play their competition to the extreme. That's why you see them at least once a year. They get a giant upset over Ohio State or someone, and then they go the next week and they lose to fucking Rutgers. They play to their competition so much. What?
Nebraska does play Michigan this year.
I didn't know their schedule this year. I'm just going by conferences. They can lose to Michigan, but they can still win their conference. That's what I'm saying. So
the rest of it is very soft, but they just have Michigan week 6.
I'm going to say, if we're picking upsets or at least teams from Big Ten, I got a team that almost made it to the playoffs and were there for a little bit. I got Michigan State in Big Ten.
Bad
you
pick.
do that,
Terrible pick.
They have a decent schedule going into this.
You're getting 2 thumbs down for me on that one.
That's great. They were in the playoffs for the longest period of time.
Now, here's the issue with that. They are in the same conference as Michigan and Ohio State.
They beat Michigan, and I believe they beat Ohio State.
In the last 3 years? No, they haven't, buddy.
I'm pretty sure they beat Michigan last season.
I highly doubt they did. I'll wait.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they beat Michigan last season.
I'm looking. Keep talking, I'm looking. No, Michigan beat them 29-7. And they lost to Ohio State 49-20.
Michigan State finished behind Maryland and Penn State, which Penn State is going to have another great year this year.
I mean, I agree with that.
Penn State is another one of those teams they're going to give Michigan and Ohio State trouble. Penn State's going to be good this year. They just carry the burden of being in the Big Ten East, which is the only worthwhile fucking Big Ten conference.
I didn't know Washington ranked number 8 last season.
Yeah, that's where they ended.
I had thought they ranked up higher than that. That's what.
So I think the 2 teams coming out of the Big Ten West this year will be Wisconsin and Nebraska. I think they're going to have 2 bounce back years. Like I said, Nebraska's recruiting class, number 25th in the country, not bad at all. I think those are the 2 teams you're going to see towards the top of the West. I'm trying to find Wisconsin's recruiting class real quick. They had the 58th best recruiting class in the nation. Not that good, but the recruits that they did get are solid.
Wisconsin still has a lot of their players from last season too, don't they?
They didn't have a big draft class.
So those are the 2 teams coming out of the West. I believe that. I don't think any other team there will give them very many issues. Moving over to the SEC, there's no one else to talk about besides Georgia. Georgia's winning it all again this year. They don't have to fucking rebuild, they reload.
So freaking tired of seeing that.
Wait, keep crying.
It's not even Notre Dame. I'm just tired of seeing Alabama, Georgia, Clemson.
Hey, we had to suffer through Alabama for so long.
Would you rather have Alabama back winning every single year?
I don't want.
I sure as hell wouldn't.
I don't want Alabama, Clemson, and Georgia.
Why are you putting Clemson in that bracket?
Well, speaking of which, Clemson is the favorite to win the ACC.
Yeah.
So because the ACC is kind of soft. There's 2 teams in the ACC. It's going to come down to these 2 teams. It's either Florida State or Clemson. I'm super high on Florida State. I think Florida State had this is their year to be able to.
I can't say that.
To reclaim what they had once upon a time with Jameis Winston.
I can't.
I think they've come back around, and this is perfect timing because Clemson's solid. Clemson's solid. They're going to be solid year in and year out. But going into this year, it's going to be one of those 2. It's tough to call between them.
Clemson.
Florida State. It's hard to pick against Clemson because of their repeated success year in and year out. But I just got a feeling it's Florida State. Now, if it's not Clemson or Florida State, anyone else in there, Pitt, Miami, whoever it might be, is going to be fucking surprised. But it's down between Clemson and Florida State. And
freaking Georgia Tech comes through the woodwork.
The triple option.
My heart says Florida State, so I got to go with Florida State. And like everywhere else it's a toss up. They're saying the same exact thing. It's pretty much whoever you want to pick with, ride with them, and that's who you got. It's either Clemson or Florida State. It's one of those two. And I think that we covered all Power 5, didn't we?
I think that is it. Yeah.
Well, Big 12. Big 12 is also kind of up in the air. I don't know. It's either going to be Kansas State, Texas, or Oklahoma. It's one of those three.
Imagine if Texas wins it on their last year in it.
It could happen.
Well, that's what Bleacher Report has.
My word, that'd be something.
TCU shows back up.
Take the title to the SEC.
OSU did pretty good last season. Though. As odd as that is to say, OSU did pretty good last season. Why do you keep giving me that look?
The thing, though, with Texas is that they have to beat Alabama.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah.
they have to beat Alabama and then only lose like a single Big 12 game.
Bama's not as good as they once was.
Or they lose to Bama and they have to win every single game in the Big 12.
I would say it's probably going to be, if I had to be a betting man, Oklahoma.
I don't know. Kansas State's good. I definitely wouldn't sleep on Kansas State. But it's one of those three that I said. It's either Texas, Oklahoma, or Kansas State. The issue with the Big 12 is that it's mediocrely good all the way through. Like, you got teams like BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, UCF. All of them are not... They're good bowl teams, but they aren't college football playoff teams. So it's easy to go into UCF and drop a fucking game once a week, like once a year. We're going to BYU, going to old Mormon country and dropping a fucking game. So that's the issue with the Big 12. It is so mediocrely good as it's up in the air. It's pretty much whoever loses the least amount of shitty games pretty much in the Big 12. Who doesn't lose to the BYUs, the Cincinnatis, the UCFs more consistently.
That's how Cincinnati made it to the national championship. They just found a way to take games off people and not lose the games that they were supposed to.
And I guess in essence, that's what fucking win records are. You don't lose to stupid people. You don't lose in general, but especially in the Big 12, with it being kind of very mid all the way through. It's up in the air. But I think that's it. Unless we want to talk about the group of 5 teams.
Not really.
Like you don't want to talk about the Sun Belt or the Mountain West or Conference
USA
or the MAC.
If you want to talk about the MAC, I'll let you talk about the MAC.
No. I want to talk about the Sun Belt. If I remember who's in the Sun
Belt. You want to talk about the Sun Belt?
Nope. Not
what do you care about the Sun Belt?
Fucking Marshall.
Somebody's salty.
Fucking Marshall. Not the conference I thought it was.
Why don't we talk about...
They're not in the Sun Belt.
Yeah. You go ahead and talk about that, Austin.
No.
Bring up the MAC outlook. What's the MAC outlook like?
Not good for me, since I attend Ball State. Toledo will probably win it again. The issue is they have all of the, like, their quarterbacks returning. Their playmakers and O-line from last year are returning. Almost all their defense are returning. And they won it last year, so it's more than likely they're going to win it again. Ball State will probably be mid, as always. As much as I hate to admit that, I love my Cardinals. They do play Georgia week 2, so no. I mean, that's tough. But we're getting that SEC money, though, because I'm pretty sure we play Kentucky week 1 and then Georgia week 2. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
You're not going to have anybody left, are you?
Let me check this the schedule.
They're all dead.
So, Eli, I just want to let you know, I'm looking at Notre Dame's schedule, and I'm so confused, bro.
I haven't checked it out yet. What?
Navy, Tennessee State, North Carolina State, Central Michigan, Ohio State, Duke, Louisville,
Uh-huh.
USC, Pittsburgh,
Uh-huh.
Clemson, Wake Forest, Stanford. Make it make sense.
We're going to get shoved
this
into the
year.
ACC.
You're going to get shuffled to the MAC if you keep it up with schedules like that.
Ball State, Notre Dame on Thursday night
I
matches.
legit
It's
think
actually Tuesday
that
night, I'm
we
pretty
just-
sure. I don't think it's
I'm
Thursday.
pretty
I
sure
think it's
we
Tuesday.
face everybody. I'm pretty sure we face one team from each conference this season.
I'm.
I'm
You got Ohio
'Cause
State from the Big Ten,
we got Big
Navy
Ten,
from
ACC. got the
NC State.
Pac-12.
Yeah, they're. If you're not facing them all, you got a decent variety. Wake Forest, Pitt, Clemson, USC,
This
Louisville,
may be testing
Duke.
what conference we go into.
You're touching
said
every
Central-
conference.
You said Central Michigan, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's the MAC.
there's the MAC.
Yeah, looking
We
at
dominate the
Ball
MAC.
State's schedule, they play at Kentucky September 2nd, and then at Georgia September 9th.
Oh no!
how many games do we got?
Two
One,
road
two.
games back to 12, Eli.
2 road games in
Two-
the SEC.
SEC road games back to back. Dear God.
I'm gonna make a
Do
prediction
keep
for
in
Notre
mind
Dame.
we played at Tennessee last year too, so
Notre Dame finishes.
So you're just getting
6-6.
passed around the SEC right now.
a lot of MAC schools are.
God damn.
I think Notre Dame beats Wake Forest. I think we beat Pittsburgh.
Get that bowl eligible win on you guys, I guess.
I think we beat Central. I think we beat NC State. I think we beat Tennessee State. But yeah, I think we beat Stanford, and that's it. I think we get destroyed by Clemson, destroyed by USC,
See,
destroyed
what's
by
crazy
Duke,
is
Navy.
you don't get beat by Duke. You beat Duke.
Then that would put us 7-5.
Let's do a quick Notre Dame schedule breakdown then, since we're on the fucking.
Here, I've got it. I'll read it off. It's right here.
Well, I've got it pulled up.
Week 1 is Navy, Notre Dame.
We could probably win it. Should
And
be able to
then
win
week
it.
2 is Tennessee State, Notre Dame.
I was ready to say. I'll run down this real quick. You play Navy in Ireland. I think you
Yeah.
beat Navy. You're 1-0. You go into next week, Tennessee State. You're beating Tennessee State. They're coming to you. That's another 1-2-0. You go to NC State. You drop that game. You're now 2-1. You beat Central Michigan at home.
3-1.
3-1. You're going to lose to Ohio State. 3-2. You're going to beat Duke 4-2. Louisville is going to be a stronger game than what you expect, but they're still going to come out with a win. It'll be 5-2 at that point.
Yes.
We'll
After
lose
that,
to
you-
USC.
You're going to lose to USC.
5-3.
You're going to get upset by Pitt. You're going to lose to Clemson. You're going to get upset once again by Wake Forest, because Wake Forest is scary. Don't
So we
sleep
go
on
back
them.
to we go back to
That's
6
5
and
and
6, like
6.
I said.
Yeah.
That's a toss up. You might be able to beat Wake Forest, but I think Wake Forest has got your number.
So we
And then
finish.
you beat Stanford to finish out the year.
So
6
based
and
off
6.
that, it's the 6-6 or the 7-5 that I said. So the 6-6,
It's yeah.
essentially. What I think honestly is here. This is the season where we play every single team from every conference and see how we hold up against them all and where we end up getting shoved into. Because I do think that no matter what, after our baseball team got shoved, our softball team, the hockey team, and our basketball teams got shoved into conferences. I think everybody's in the ACC. I think that the football team is finally going to get shoved because I think a NBC deal is coming up, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. The more and more I look at it, the more and more I think you guys might lose that Louisville game. What's Louisville's schedule look like? Who do they play before that?
That'll be rough.
Freaking Washington.
We are.
Fuck you. Yeah, I don't
So
know.
they're coming off a game at NC State. So let's say they beat NC State. They're going to keep riding that high, and they're going to whip you guys at home.
So we gotta hope that they lose their in their heads during that game.
I think it all depends on what happens on that at that NC State game, whether you guys win or lose at Louisville, because it's at Louisville.
No matter what, we don't have a record to go into a playoff picture.
Oh no! You guys are not going to the playoffs this year.
We barely make it into a bowl game.
What is it? 6 wins to get in the bowl nowadays?
6 wins to be bowl eligible.
So we have to win the game.
Since I got Ball State's
schedule
here, I'll go ahead and run through this real quick. I could be completely wrong because I'm not in tap with the Maction as much as I should be. You go to Kentucky, you lose week 1. You go to Georgia, you lose week 2. You have Indiana State coming to the shoe in Muncie. You get a win there. You got Georgia Southern coming to Muncie. I think you probably lose that game. I think you lose to Georgia Southern. Yeah. So you're 3-1. You're 1-3. You go to Western Michigan. It'll be a tough game. I think you can beat Western Michigan. Week after, I think you can beat Eastern Michigan. You're sitting at 3-3. You play Toledo. You drop that. That's 3-4. Homecoming.
Central Michigan you can beat.
I think you beat Central Michigan, so that puts us at 4-3. Bowling Green, you play Bowling Green, you probably win. You're 5-3, and then you go to Northern Illinois, you'll lose. Kent State, it's a winnable game. So since I attend Ball State, I'm gonna say we beat Kent State, then we lose to Miami, finishing 6-6.
Notre Dame, Ball State, bowl game. Let's do it.
What's worse is that could probably happen.
That is our acceptance into the MAC. Is playing Ball State in a bowl game.
What I want, they did it a handful of years ago. I think they did it the year before I started attending Ball State. They had a 3 to 5 year run where they played IU every single year, and I wish they'd start doing that again because I think we'd have a pretty good shot against IU.
Nowadays,
I don't think IU's that good. I wish we played every Indiana team. I wish we played because we play Indiana State.
I wish all Indiana teams did that.
I wish we'd play Butler. I wish we'd play.
Does Butler have a football team?
They do have a football team. They're D2 though. They're either D2 or D3.
Well, that's why it's so hard to get wins in D1 now. No one will play the D2 teams anymore for tune-ups.
Indiana's
you guys got anything else on?
I think Indiana.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I looked it up for a joke.
3 wins.
It's rough.
3 wins at most.
Indiana might win 4 games this year, maybe. Indiana
possibly
State,
Akron, and Indiana State. That's 3 wins.
What's crazy is that Akron game might actually be close.
That Akron game is going to be a shootout.
And Akron is terrible. Akron is not good in football.
2-10.
However, it's at Akron. It's at Akron, so
you go 2-10.
Jesus.
You don't make.
I was ready to say. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
My turn now.
With college football,
I think we pretty much hit the nail on the head with the season lookout.
Well, AP Top 25 updated as of yesterday, since it's now midnight or whatever. I'll just run down it really quick since I got it up, and then we'll move on. Number 1, Georgia. Number 2, TCU. 3, Michigan. TCU's definitely going to move. I don't know why they're still there. Number 3, Michigan. Number 4, Ohio State. 5, Alabama. 6, Tennessee. 7, Penn State. We should have talked about the SEC more. I don't know why we didn't. 7, Penn State. 8, Washington. 9, Tulane. 10, Utah. 11, Florida State. 12, USC. 13, Clemson. 14, Kansas State. Oregon's 15, LSU 16, 17's Oregon State, 18th is Notre Dame, 19 Troy, Mississippi State's 20th, UCLA's 21, Pittsburgh 22, South Carolina's 23rd, Fresno State's 24, and to round out your top 25 is Texas. And that is the AP top 25.
Texas will move up, TCU will go down.
I agree.
Fresno may move up. They should.
Depending on what we do next week, we might break down. Next time we have a sports episode, we might break down the SEC in a little more depth.
I'm going to say the SEC probably needs its own episode.
Probably.
So, in the world of motorsport, there's not really a lot to update on. Max Verstappen's still, running the F1 world like he's doing side quests. So, yeah, there's that. In NASCAR, we've had a couple races go by. The race which gave me the title as the first ace in the whole sports champion happened as William Byron won a rain-shortened race in it was Atlanta. And then the week after, Truex won. IndyCar is still, having their little silly season going on there. And then, actually, I'm going to take a couple seconds to talk about some non-mainstream racing. Today was the start of Indiana Sprint Week. If you get the chance to go to Indiana Sprint Week, it is a hell of a time. Me and Austin grew up going to it. It's just a fun time. They race 6 out of 7 days in a week, and it's all for a bunch of points. And at the end of the week, the winner of who has the most points at the end of the week gets a grand prize, and it's just a really cool experience. That's out of the way. Have either of you watched Thursday Night Thunder yet?
I have not.
You need to. SRX is back, and it is amazing. Last week at Stafford Speedway, Ryan Newman won at Stafford Speedway in one of the most chaotic SRX features I think I've ever seen. Just racing features, because, pavement racing is so much different. So if you get the chance to watch SRX, it's a bunch of drivers from a bunch of different disciplines and divisions, open wheel, stock car, they all come together. They all race the same car, same motor, same everything. And it really is driver v driver v driver, all on an equal field. It's really fun to watch because, you've got Tony Kanaan, Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman. You've got some younger people on there like Haley Deegan. It is Haley Deegan, right? Yeah, Haley Deegan. And then you have some people who are actually still racing in like NASCAR who are like doing really good, like Denny Hamlin. Cole Custer will be on there later in the season. And it's a really fun, really cool experience. So if you're not doing anything on a Thursday night, Helio Castroneves is a mainstay. He's running all year. And if you're ever bored on a Thursday night, they got their deal with ESPN. So it's on, the main ESPN. It's there. It's wonderful. And that's my soapbox on that.
And me bringing up Elio, I'll tear back into IndyCar just a tad bit more. I won't go super into depth with it. But last time we kind of talked about IndyCar, I do believe it was
right after the 500, I think. Like, we haven't talked about it since.
I can't remember if they had the Detroit Grand Prix or not. But if we want to, let's say the last 6 races, Alex Palou has won the last 4 of the 6 races that there has been. People were speculating like, oh, Alex Palou fell off. This isn't his year. He's not going to be as good as last year. He definitely is, and he definitely has been, and he definitely will be.
He is him.
He is him. And then this most recent race, my guy Christian Lundgaard finally pulled it off. Graham Rahal is going to have a very tough time keeping him once his contract is up. This is one of the best raw talents in IndyCar. I've said this over and over and over again. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with as long as he stays in IndyCar for a significant amount of time, barring him going to anywhere else. And as far as the standings go, Palou's first, Dixon second, Newgarden third, Ericsson fourth, Pato O'Ward fifth, Scott McLaughlin sixth, Lundgaard seventh, Will Power eighth, Colton Herta ninth, and my other guy, Alexander Rossi, rounds out the top 10. I don't think a whole lot has switched there. I think Lundgaard maybe moved up 1 or 2 spots. I'm switching over to NASCAR, going off of the projected playoff positions as of now. Martin Truex Jr., His first, William Byron, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, and Michael McDowell takes that final 16th spot, with Suarez out of the playoffs by a single point, and AJ Allmendinger behind by 20 points.
The Dinger. A name you didn't say, Chase Elliott, 60 points back, doesn't have a win. Probably not going to make the playoffs this year.
There is a God. Praise up.
Alrighty, you want to do Guess the Racer, or we want to do predictions next?
We'll do Guess the Racer, because I am not ready for this at all.
Alrighty. Eli, left or right? Left it is.
Right.
No. He already gave you left.
Fuck you.
Alrighty. You ready, Eli?
No.
This man was the 1994 USAC National Midget Series champion, the 1995 USAC Triple Crown champion, the 1997 IndyCar Series champion. He won the NASCAR Cup Series in 02, 05, and 011. He won the IROC in 06. He won the SRX Series in 2001. Other notable winners are he won the Brickyard in 05 and 07. He won the All-Star Race in 09. And he won 3 Budweiser shootouts. Along with all of his NASCAR accomplishments, he won the Prelude to the Dream in 2006, 2008, and 2009. He won the Gatorade Duels in 05, 07, and 012. He won the Turkey Night Grand Prix in 2000. He won the Chili Bowl in 2002 and 2007. This next one will be a hint. And he is one of, I believe, 4 to win NASCAR races with 3 different engine manufacturers.
Can I get a
The
car
Indy
number?
car is holding you up? No, I'm not
NASCAR
giving you the
car
car
number?
number. I'm not
Can I
giving you
get
the
his
car
racing
number.
team for NASCAR?
No.
Are you
No.
fucking kidding me? Cliff, I'm probably
I can
still
give
not
you
going
a
to get it
hint.
after either of those.
If you
You
want a
should
hint, I
get
can
it.
give you a hint. Austin
a
already
hint.
knows. I didn't even need... Oh, I'm not done. Sorry, I still have to read more. He was the 1999 Winston Cup Series Rookie of the Year. He's 1996 Indianapolis 500 Rookie of the Year. He's in the National Midget Auto Racing Hall of Fame, the USAC Hall of Fame, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hall of Fame, Motorsports Hall of Fame of America, the NASCAR Hall of Fame, the NASCAR Sprint Car Hall of Fame, and he is one of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers. In the NASCAR Cup Series, he has 49 wins, 308 top 10s, and 15 poles.
Is this Tony?
It is Tony Stewart.
Okay,
It is
so
Tony Stewart.
I knew everything, and it sounded like Tony, and then you said IndyCar, and I completely
Yeah.
spaced that he did IndyCar.
He won the IndyCar
And
series
as soon
before
as
he
you
made
said
the jump to
IndyCar,
NASCAR.
I didn't think I was going to be correct saying Tony because I completely spaced that he did Indy. That's the reason when I said number, I
Anthony
wanted
Wayne
number.
Stewart himself.
Yep. He
Okay,
with
so-
Team Menard won
As
the
I stated
Indy
before,
Racing League Championship.
as I stated before the podcast, when Cliff said this is what we were doing, last I paid attention to any racing, Tony Stewart was racing number 14. Jeff Gordon had just retired. Jimmy Johnson was racing. Bush Brothers were racing. Logano, I think, was in 20, the 20 car, maybe. I think it was still Home Depot sponsoring it at that time. Hamlin was there. Freaking Wallace was nowhere. Like, it's been years.
And The hint I couldn't give you is that when he won the NASCAR Cup Series in 2014, he won it as both driver and owner.
See, that
All right,
would have
Austin,
helped me.
are you ready? Yeah, no. It would have been too good to help you.
I am ready.
All righty, Austin. This man was the 2012 NASCAR K&N Pro Series East champion. He was the 2012 Pete Orr Memorial winner. He won the Turkey Night Grand Prix in 2012, 2016, and 2019. He won the 24-hour Rolex at Daytona in 2015. He won the 2016 Aspen Dental Eldora Dirt Derby. He won the All-Star Race in 2019, 2021, and 2023. In 2020, he won the Hoosier 100. In 2020 and 2021, he won the Chili Bowl.
This is Larson.
Damn it. I didn't even get to the rest of it.
That's too easy.
I had to give you guys the easy ones before I gave you Juan Pablo.
That's too easy.
Don't make me... You know what? Next time, I'm going to pull out Paul Menard.
Please don't.
I'm going to make you guys guess Paul Menard, or I can pull
What
out
did
some
I do?
F1
What
a
drivers.
meatball.
I'm
I
sorry.
could give you...
I've
I
given
can make
you
Eli
Eddie
try to guess
Guerrero.
F1 drivers.
I've given you Eddie Guerrero. It's not my fault you couldn't figure out him. I've given you Dustin Rhodes. Not my fault you couldn't figure him out. I gave you easy guys. I give you easy people
and
most
you also
of the time.
gave me shit hints.
He gave you Tegan Knox twice.
I
and
gave
got it
you
wrong
all
both
of the
times.
championship accomplishments. If you don't realize what Eddie Guerrero has won, the legend that he is, that is on you, not me.
Yeah, it sounds like someone's just sore. Anyway, for the putting my title back on the line for this week, we will be predicting winners of the IndyCar race in 2 weeks on the Nashville Street Circuit, the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. Eli, who you taking and why?
I have to have a why, because I totally know who the hell majority of these people are. Let's go through the list. Alex Palou, is that his name?
He said that one right.
Scott
Yeah, he said it right. Yeah.
Joseph Newgarden.
Joseph.
I didn't know if it was Joseph or Joseph. Marcus Ericsson.
He's 4
Pato
4.
O'Ward. Scott
5 for
McLaughlin.
5.
Christian Lundgaard. Will Power. Colton Herta. My pick, Alexander Rossi.
Rossi.
He's
Not your pick anymore. You can't say his last name. You got to switch.
No, he's got Rozzy. Eli's picking Rossi.
Yeah, no. I'm going with him.
Because at that
He's
rate,
like one of the few people that I know on this list. I've been looking at this list the whole time, trying to figure out how to pronounce majority of their names.
Hey, Eli, do me a favor.
What?
Try to announce the name of the man who's in 13th.
13th? Hang on. My phone never unlocks to my face. Romain. Grosjean?
Grosjean. That's actually not the worst I've heard it.
Better than I thought I was going to be there.
That's pretty good.
I was
How about number 20? You got number 20?
Oh, no.
Helio
Don't do
Castroneves?
that to him.
Castroneves.
That's pretty
Not
close.
terrible.
Yeah.
How about number 22?
Devlin. Ooh. DeFrancesco? DeFrancesco. See, it doesn't have any
25, right
spacing
below.
or anything on it, so I don't know if there's any extra to the names.
It's number 25, right below him.
Oh, God, Austin. That one's just mean.
Simon Pagnid?
Huh?
Simon Pagnid? Pagnoid?
Simon Pagino.
Pagino? There's no O.
Pagnoid.
That's a D.
Pagino.
That's a D.
He's French. He's
It's
French.
a D.
He's French.
D doesn't make an O.
He's French.
D doesn't make a freaking O.
It does in France. It's the same reason EAUX makes an O.
Not Bordeaux.
It doesn't make an O.
All right. Austin, you've bought yourself enough time. Who are you picking for the Big Machine Vodka Series and
I've
why?
had my pick this entire time. It's Scott Dixon.
Scott Dixon?
He has been running towards the front all fucking season long. It's time he finally gets his win and he moves on. He gets his win and he closes that gap to first.
I don't think he does.
I think he does.
Ericsson won it 2 years ago. Dixon won it last year. What the hell was that?
What the fuck are you going on about?
Fuck your stupid D for an O.
I'll let you take that up with all the French people, that definitely listen to the podcast. But I'm taking Alex Palou. I think it's his year to finally win in Nashville.
He's hot. That's not a bad pick.
And just in case this is your first time listening to the sports podcast, there has to be a winner. So even if all three of them wreck out, it's whoever finishes the highest in the standings. So Rossi, Dixon, and Palou could all wreck. But if, Rossi gets out and completes one more lap, then that means that
jackass.
He would...
That is how he won.
That would be how he wins.
Freaking
I won
Austin's
because
guy,
my guy was in first place.
Austin's guy did not finish. Mine not wrecked and had to pick.
That's the
I
game.
Won. He didn't even get
That's
hit
the
in
game.
the wreck. He went around everything. His freaking team pulled him in.
Sounds like you're bitching and moaning again.
Anyway, Eli, you were going to say.
I was
trying to educate our listeners on the rules of our contest.
I was going to pick Scott at first.
Yeah, I think Scott Dixon, yeah. He did win last year. He did win it last year.
It was going to be him or Marcus.
And this was the same situation last year, too, where I'm pretty sure he hadn't won a single time up until Nashville.
But Nashville's is too late in the season, man.
Scott's just that guy.
I am him.
Scott's been him for Lord knows how long.
He's a mainstay in that series, man. Has he actually won the chip yet?
Yeah, he won it a couple of years ago. Pretty sure he's won it more than once.
I just can never remember. It's just because for some reason he just keeps on going.
So I lied.
He's
Scott
won it
Dixon
6 times.
Scott Dixon won at Toronto last year before the Nashville one. So like a week or two before. Yeah, Scott Dixon has been him for quite a while. He's one of the best IndyCar drivers of all time. Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. All right, Eli. Who gets your random sports shout out for the week?
Is it Simon Pagino?
The first sports person that comes to your head, who gets the shout out for you this week? It could be anybody. Scooter Jeanette, Ken Griffey Jr., whoever.
Barry Larkin, Johnny Bench,
Cliff Lee, anybody.
Adam Dunn. And you're muted, buddy. We can't hear you talk.
We haven't heard anything you said.
I said shout out to DeAndre Hopkins for being able to get somebody to pick him up instead of just letting him retire. Because that man ain't going to help with nothing.
Fair enough. Austin, who's your random sport shout out for the week?
I'm trying to think of someone that out of all those names I didn't say. First one that came to mind was Jonathan India.
Jonathan India?
Who the
You're
hell?
You're switching now?
Yeah, I am. The freaking recent UFC event that just happened. hang the hell on. Because there was a match that happened.
I'm lost.
Or a fight that happened. And it's to the dumbass female wrestler that, not wrestler, female MMA fighter who was in a leg submission. Nothing to do with her arm at all. Should have not had any pressure done to her arm and snapped her arm in half.
I can't say I've seen that.
Somehow.
Can't say I've seen it either.
Somehow. So whoever the hell you are, shout out to you for being the biggest dumbass in the world and somehow snapping your arm in a leg submission that had nothing to do with your arm. That's my shout out.
Cool, I guess.
Mine is going to be, shout out to Daniela Helmsley for getting banned from ever being in a boxing ring ever again.
Is she the one that flashed?
Yep.
Yep, and she got banned by every boxing organization after that, so she'll never step foot in a boxing ring again. So,
Brazilian fighter is still in Nunes. Found it. She was in a leg submission and snapped her freaking arm.
Cool.
I think that about does it.
Champ, you want to take it home since
I can.
this is your show?
And, you can call this the B show here at the Ace in the Hole. I know other people have, but, just because it's the B show doesn't mean it's any less important. Even though, Eli's over there playing music through his phone. Definitely not going to get us in trouble. So just you remember, the next time you need your football team schedule broken down, you can come to the Ace in the Hole. We'll tell you how many games you're going to win and lose. The next time you need something to watch, just let us know. We can find something for you to watch. And always remember that we've got you covered because we're your Ace in the Hole. And we'll catch you on down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.